right, welcome in here to Real Talk on Monday,
June
June
16th.
16th,
Yes.
2025. We're here to do some Real Talk. And Bo, a lot has happened to talk about since we were on here last week. We were talking about tariffs, and the very next day, war breaks out.
Yes.
We're going to come back and we're going to talk about that and how it impacts the United States, how it impacts us here at home.
Okay.
But before we do, I want us to hear from our sponsor, Norris Plumbing.
Norris
We're
Plumbing.
going to take a break.
24-hour plumbing.
We'll be right back.
Norris Plumbing, your go-to source for licensed and insured plumbing services. Emergency services when you need it. Norris Plumbing. Call us at 931-703-5915.
All righty, welcome back in here to Real Talk. Bo, as we mentioned coming in, we're going to talk about the Israel-Iran. They call it a conflict, but it's a war.
It is a war. It is a war. It's as real of a war as you can imagine. We've seen movies. We haven't seen this in our land. We've been fortunate enough not to have it on our land, on our homeland, in years and years and years and years. But anybody who is, if they're skeptical or might be wondering what's going on and looking at it as just like a piece of news, there is real actual blood being spilt there, and there are videos to watch, and the missiles that are coming in like rain, and so what they've got going over there is
about
crisis.
The ones coming into Israel,
to Israel, and from Israel.
Well, I mean, Israel is going over basically, and they've got control of the sky because they've taken out the missile, the anti-air defense systems are just basically shut down. So they're flying around in their jets, their F-15s and F-16s, and blowing stuff up left and right.
Yeah, it almost looks like a heat lightning here in the south and during the summer, but except there, it's really a war going on.
Yeah, and of course, Iran hadn't put any planes in the sky except to defend themselves, but they've been throwing some of these ballistic missiles at us. And there's a lot of...
They move quick.
Well, there's three different ones I found out. I was looking at watching a guy explain it in there too. They travel fast. That's why they're called ballistic missiles. And there's this one, and I don't even know the name of it, but it's wild.
Yeah.
You saw the video earlier.
I did.
That thing looked like the Iron Dome could not stop it.
No.
It shot through there and it looked like a laser.
It was blowing by regular missiles, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Regular type missiles, but it's a real war going over there, and how much longer is this going to happen? I mean, this is going back and forth. It's escalating each and every time. There's civilians getting killed. The video I watched was a guy, at home. You could hear family in the background telling everybody to get. I mean, there's missiles literally coming down like rain, and I just wonder where. And that's what I propose here that we discuss and we throw out. What is the United States? Where do we stand on this?
Well, when we voted President Trump in office, we voted for the end of all these unnecessary wars and the forever wars that we've been in. And this is an escalation on, in his term that we probably knew it was coming because Iran has been reportedly building nuclear centrifuge development so they can get warheads put together. So
they were close. They were like bombs. 2 weeks away.
Well, that's what the intel said. And today, Netanyahu comes out and says it's 12 to 18 months away. So which is it?
Yeah, exactly. It's probably somewhere in the middle or neither. And they probably got them, but you never know. But I just wish that on both sides, I wish Iran had a common sense, I guess, or a peaceful person to deal with. When you're not dealing with a peaceful person, now the people in Iran are, they're people, they're civilians, there's old, there's old, young, they're
people just like
we are, and they've got these people that just won't be willing just to, try to come to some type of terms. Donald Trump did make a comment on this, and he's kind of just staying quiet. You're not hearing a lot, but he said, I wish y'all stop. It's a lot of bloodshed. I hate to see more bloodshed.
I mean, he's not for this war. He's for getting a nuclear deal done. He's wanting a deal done. That's his name.
Peace.
That's his middle. That's what D stands for in his middle initial. Donald D. Donald, no, it's Donald J. Trump, but the D in Donald stands for deal. So
that's right. It does.
Here
he said deal today.
He keeps saying he wants a deal, and he feels like that they're ready to talk. Iran is ready to talk. Okay, well, here's the issue. If you're going to be in the middle of putting this deal together, you got to try to get both of them to come together. And I don't think Netanyahu is going to have any part of it.
Yeah, you can't make a peaceful negotiation with your finger on the trigger. You have to put the gun down, and you have to go. But yes, you're right, and maybe rightfully so. Netanyahu has, I'm sure he has this animosity. I mean, it's built up over the years. This is nothing new. This is same old battle, just a different day. But he's got to check himself too, and he's got to come to realize that if we want peace in this world, I mean, this can easily escalate with with Russia involved. This could be easily World War III as fast as we know it. It's hard to see. When people were going through World War II back in the days, and the life and the time up to World War II, they didn't know what they were going through until it was over. So let's be aware and let's be of what's going on.
So how does it impact us here? First of all, the price of oil has gone up. And I know today our weekly spike in gas prices went up to $2.90 in the $2.90 range.
Yeah, still.
And we had a little pullback today in crude oil. It was up to like 74, 75. It's pulled back down to 72 range, 71, 72. Last time I looked at it about an hour ago. And now you've got Iran threatening to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, which is where 60% of all crude oil passes through from the Middle East out into the open water so it can get around the world. So if that happens, if they try to sabotage that, that's going to shoot the prices up. The threat of that's going to shoot the prices up. And if Israel keeps hitting oil refineries and wells and stuff in Iran, that's going to shoot the price up. So that affects us. It affects us economically, and it puts a monkey wrench in Donald Trump's plan.
A question on that, and I get from a lot of people also. We have oil reserves. Mm-hmm. Could we not supplement our loss from that 60%?
It don't matter. It's not going to change the price because the price is global. And
it's on a global market scale is what you're saying.
Yeah,
but you can't just say, hey, we got free oil. We should do something like that to get some kind of.
But see, here's the thing: West Texas crude, and you got Brent, and you got typical crude. It's got like 3 categories, and it all's pretty close to the same, but it'll vary from $1 to $2 per drum, per barrel between those 3. Typically, the West Texas is the cheapest. All right. We are close to energy independent right now.
Right.
We're not getting much,
no,
if anything, right now from overseas. Whether we strike into the reserve or not is irrelevant as far as it goes in the price, global price. The global price is going to be it's global. So this threat,
how much of an impact would it have on the United States?
It's going to shoot the price up.
It would just automatically.
It doesn't make any difference what we got in the ground here.
Even like if there's a hostile country like that, they shouldn't count in the world market. You know what I mean?
But it's not. It's the world market is responding to these factors.
Right,
okay.
Right.
It doesn't make any difference how relevant or irrelevant they are. If they create a danger to this and cut off that supply,
I see that
the price is going to shoot up because speculators are going to say, "We better grab it. Let's get it now. Let's get it now." And then that supply starts to dwindle on paper, so your futures prices go up. And then immediately you got the oil company sitting over here chomping at the bit. Oh, we're going up. We're going to be at $3.50. If this doesn't get settled in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be at $3.50.
Yeah, now, I'm glad that you answered that because it's very complex, and I get that question a lot. So I think a lot of people, we
can be energy independent here and have all the oil we want, but the price of oil is going to still be high, and these companies, they're going to sell it to the highest bidder.
Yeah, they're in it for the money, right?
Yeah. So if it's sitting here and we can ship it to, let's just say we ship it to Taiwan.
Yeah.
If they can ship it and make more money doing that, they will. So the price is going to stay what the price is.
So we have to get out of the mindset America's got oil and it's just going to be free and we can just go pick it up.
Right. So what's the other thing? The uncertainty in the financial markets creates instability in our stock market. And the price of Bitcoin went down. It came back up today. It got up to 108.
Yeah.
and then you had the price of silver. It's been wavering back and forth, but it's 36, 37 in that range. Gold is still a hot topic. It's going to continue to go up. So we've got all this starting right in the middle of a trade war. So
it's, you know, like we talked about in the history and the act of 1930, I believe it was, you know, I got to looking at that this weekend more, and I'm sure other people did because I wasn't aware of it. You know, these are going to have such an impact on us that we're not even looking at it. It's not even on the radar in a lot of places. I mean, when we're talking about it, it's about the only place you're going to hear about it unless you read about it in certain areas. I mean, this isn't something that we need to be saving up for and you know, being, you know, frugal with our resources.
I question all news reporting these days.
I do too.
I've been watching from every angle. And the Iranian folks, of course, they're like, we're beating Israel, and they're attacking our citizens here. And then Iran is saying the same thing. They're attacking our citizens. They're shooting and hitting apartment complexes and stuff.
Oh, I know.
All right, but
they got hit while they were on air doing a
broadcast. But you got to look at this too. Israel has a lot of their defense offices right in downtown Tel Aviv, and their version of the Pentagon got sideswiped by a missile the other night, and it was this close to being destroyed.
Oh,
so they're going after it tit for tat. And
so when is it going to stop? That's the question.
I think Iran wants to stop because they know that Israel is a wild card on the table. They want Trump to bail them out here, I think.
Oh, they do. And Trump's being very quiet. I don't know what's going on in the background. I would imagine a lot. But I know that peace is the common goal here and not destruction of Iran. I mean, like we just talked about, there's real people there. I mean, you know, like it or not, we can all be like, you know, bomb Iran or whatever, but no, that ain't, you know, there's people, there's real human beings over there. There's Christians over there. And so we've got to, you know, think of that too. It's these crazy governments that just, you know, they just do form a coup, and whoever's got the machine gun, like you said earlier, he's on top.
Like, this is all about, it's a power struggle. And I think it's just another, you got Tom Cotton, Lindsey Graham, half the Republican Party jumping up and down. They want to put boots on the ground. And in Iran, that's the dumbest thing I believe I've heard yet.
They are totally a knee-jerk reaction. I get their sentiment, really, but when I think it out with logic and common sense, that does not make sense right now. And there was no need to risk American blood on a foreign soil over a foreign conflict.
Now, if Iran does have nuclear capability, they need to be able to open their doors up and say, come in, check out what we got.
Absolutely.
And then the international committee that handles the nuclear negotiating and the monitoring needs to go in there and say, yeah, you got to get rid of this.
Yeah, we don't need any guessing. We've got a lot of guessing. And you know, we can't have that.
The fact that Netanyahu comes out and says, our intelligence says that they're within just a few days of having a nuclear bomb. And then today he comes out and says it's 12 to 18 months.
Yeah,
that makes me think weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. When we went into Iraq, it makes me think of that same excuse. We were looking for a reason to go in there.
Yeah, and that's what I don't like to hear. And that's what you know, it's like people, you pick sides. I don't want sides. I just like to have peace in the Middle East, if that could actually happen. But apparently, you know, it doesn't help when you've got the so-called, you know, the leader of Israel pretty much acting like a war. It's like they've gotten this mindset of war, and they can't get out of it.
Let me ask you something. Okay, they've been dealing with their retaliation against Hamas, and you know the terrorists that came in and attacked them back to what was it, October of 2023?
I think so.
They have been taking Palestine and pushing it off into the Mediterranean Sea, and they have killed a ton of innocent people trying to get to Hezbollah in Syria and Hamas right there in Palestine. Okay. Right. And you've got that they've just kept on going. So they got that going on. You got the Houthis throwing missiles up and actually shooting them at us. Okay. I think that Trump has had a lot of patience with all parties involved here.
Yes, I mean the way that people will say, "Oh, he's a warmonger." Well,
No.
go check it. Go check
No.
the stats right now.
He keeps calling for peace.
He wants peace
Now,
and peace through strength sometime, but he's given.
Now, I do know that according to some reports, and I don't know if you'll hear this on our mainstream news, but last night at around 9 p.m. Central Time, 50 tankers, big planes with fuel, took off from all over the United States and started heading across the Atlantic Ocean to refuel something.
Yeah.
All right, who are they refueling? They're probably refueling your Israeli jets because they're ramping up. Okay, so we are helping them. And then we're helping defend some and shooting down some of these missiles, or trying to. So we're helping them that way, but we're not
helping them on paper.
Not offensively on paper, except for these tankers, and that's an aid.
Yes.
So we are doing some stuff to support Israel because they're our ally. But at the same time, we're not.
Now, weapons aren't brought out.
Not yet.
Not yet. It's a peace. It's a mission for peace right now.
Okay, I think our general public is torn in two right now, maybe into three parts.
Yes.
I'm hearing we need to take them out. Then I'm hearing, we need to back Israel down and get this stopped.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know what people are thinking out there. I'm afraid to even ask sometimes. So what do you think about this?
I am too. I just wish. My opinion is on a human level. Like I said, there are human families' lives over there. There are Christians over there. There are people that aren't bad people that are being led astray by their government, just like they are here in other areas. But they, there has to be a solution of peace, and there has to be two heads come meet. And sometimes it takes a third. But in this situation, David, it's been such a long war. I don't know if this is even realistic.
Yeah,
because it's generational. It's generational. And I'm afraid that the one would stop now. Those that'll grow up, they'll be mad, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, you know what? It's the evil in this world, and wars and rumors of wars, and that's where we are right now in the Middle East.
I've been looking for a source throughout this process since this started that's basically unbiased. That just basically shows you what's going on and tells what's going on from all the news services and reports from different areas. And I found a unique live broadcast, and this gentleman, I don't know where he's based, but the name of it is Agenda Free TV, and he's giving live coverage. His name is Steve Lookner, I think is his name. I'm going to put his YouTube link. He's got a live stream going as we speak, and he will be going all night, and he's got cams set up, and he's tapped into cams they're over Haifa, Jerusalem, and Tel Aviv, showing the incoming missiles when they come, and you can see it live. You can show it live, and he also gets the warnings from their system over there ahead of time before the sirens go off.
Wow!
So he will tell you play by play what's going on. You can watch for yourself what's taking place because it'll blow your mind.
Yes, it will. And just so everybody knows, I looked at the clock. It is about 12:30 now a.m. in Israel. So
it starts last night. It started our time around 9:30 to about 10:15 or so. It was all out going. It was going on. Up. It was on like Donkey Kong. Okay, and you can watch it. That's at about 4:30 their time. It's right before the sun comes up. It's when
they attacks
are hitting pretty much.
And then how long it lasts? About 3 hours.
No. The bombardment lasts. By the time you start hearing chatter of the missiles incoming, probably 30 minutes tops.
And some of these are coming close to these residential areas.
Oh, they're hitting they're hitting apartments.
Yeah.
But some of the video cams that you're seeing on some of this footage is right there close to it. Yeah. But this one, I think, is a news feed from Reuters that this guy has set up, and he's like watching it. He's trying to describe what's going on, and you can see
that's scary.
It's
I mean, he's in more. My hat's off to him because he's in a war zone.
Well, he's not. I think he's actually in New York.
Oh, so he's got the camera set up.
No,
or something,
he's,
or
he's
he's
tapping
feeding
into the feeds.
Oh,
But
okay.
he's also tapped into. He's got sources in Israel. I think he's based in New York.
There's somebody putting their life.
He's
on
a
the
Jewish
line
man,
to do
okay,
that, yeah.
that has family there.
Yeah.
He doesn't even speak Hebrew. He's got very good English skills, and I think he was born here. But he's going back, and he's unbiased. He's not like pulling for either. He's just like telling you what's happening.
Yeah. Well, we just need to stay plugged into this issue.
Yeah.
I think this is very important. And know, and stay on that. That's a great resource. It's you kind of say, oh, that's great that he's got that, but it's war. I mean, do we really, it just kind of makes it more real, and maybe makes us want to get involved and not have war and want more peace.
All right. So here's what we know so far. In Iran, there's been 224 or more killed, 1,277 injured. And then that's per Iran. And then there's a independent agency says that over 1,000 people have been killed.
Okay, so that's pretty close.
Up to date.
Yeah,
1,000 people. Well, they said 224, and they're saying 1,000.
Oh, 1,000. So
okay,
okay,
that's a big difference.
Yeah,
all right, then you got in Israel 24 fatalities, and 287 people were hospitalized overnight last night. And before that, there was probably 80 to 90 seriously injured the night before, and 80 to 90 the night before that. So they're taking it on the chin as well. One other thing I want to talk about before we get out of here, Bo, is the No Kings demonstrations across the country on Saturday.
Yeah,
ended up that about 5 million people attended. There were, I think, one place in Salt Lake City, I think there was some gunfire, people arrested.
Yeah.
And, of course, the typical provoking the police, doing all that garbage.
They were yelling.
Getting in the streets. It's your typical
they were yelling
crowd that we know who they are.
They were yelling due process, and the guy was in the court getting due process.
Exactly.
I was like, oh no, they don't know what they're talking about, but nothing new. It was a dud.
I'm glad it was. I was
too.
afraid that there would be some loonies mixed in with them, and they probably were.
Oh, they were. They were.
And then we had the military parade and Donald Trump's birthday all going at the same time. I got mixed feelings about that.
Yeah.
That happened the same day. This weekend was a powder keg wasn't happening. It did.
Yeah, I'm glad that it didn't, but it seems like that it seems like we're in very tense times. So it seems like day to day.
And then we had the two politicians murdered in Minnesota. They arrested that guy.
Yes.
And that the news coverage seemed to be gravitating toward that.
Yes.
In Minnesota over everything else that's going on. And I get it. It is news.
It is.
But you got World War III starting. That's pretty important.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I understand exactly what you say. I mean, apparently this guy, he pretended to be a police officer, got in these houses, and he was staking out other representatives and state officials. He was a nut. He was a loony. Yeah. He had a chip on his shoulder, and he had something missing. So I'm glad they got him. They got him after the manhunt. So they'll probably put it to him, I'd say, in Minnesota.
Yeah. All right. So I got to ask you this, Bo. When I don't know if you've tried to engage your friends and other people that you know and just try to talk to them about what's going on between Iran and Israel. Have you had any discussions?
I have discussions. I have discussions here and there, everywhere. And me and my dad, sometimes family.
Have you run into this when you start to bring it up? Like, I don't want to talk about politics. I don't want to hear about that. That has nothing to do with me. And it's just like, I've run into some people that just want to bury their head in the sand, act like it's not happening.
Yes, I have.
What's going on with that?
That right there is, Is
it fear?
It's fear. It's because you don't want to hear what's really going on. You know what's going on, but you don't want to, admit it to yourself and deal with it. But that's something that we have to do is we don't have to soak ourselves in this crazy news and all this stuff. But like we talked about the other day, independent sources. I like to read myself, so I'll read several, and then I feel okay. I don't get too lost in it, and I don't worry about it. But don't be don't give it to him. Before you know it, it'll be a gun in your face. A tyrannical government.
We watched a video before we came on here.
Yeah,
and it was showing this supersonic missile. Okay, that Iran has.
Oh yeah, the fast one.
It like went through that iron curtain like it was not there.
It just
or the Iron Dome.
It burned. Right, yeah.
It was.
It didn't see it.
What they're doing is they're sending like 20 or 30 of the ballistic missiles that are slower,
Yes.
and then they're mixing in these fast ones. And if you get on YouTube and just look at Iranian supersonic missiles,
Oh yeah.
it'll scare you.
You'll
Okay,
see, yeah.
Should we be concerned about that? I don't. I've talked to people, and then some just said, "I don't want to talk about it."
No.
Okay.
Yes. No. That's something we have to talk about, and I hope that the those at the top of the government and the chain that are handling our defense aren't going like this.
So my question to everybody that's watching: are you afraid to even talk about this type of stuff, or would you rather talk about, I don't know,
football,
what's going
baseball
on at the coffee shop? I mean,
I
is
don't like to talk about it, but I don't dodge it, and I'd like to bring it up. I always try to bring up what's really going on. Not to everybody, and if you don't want to talk about it, that's cool too. But I like to at least get people to think about the things, and especially in this situation where there's real people that are really dying and kids and all this. I mean, war is ugly. I haven't participated in it, thank God, and I really thank the ones that do anytime I see them. But I can't imagine this horrific event, and it's real. I mean, it's unimaginable.
Do you think people, when they do that, just don't want to think about it? And if they don't think about it, maybe it just doesn't. It's not really happening.
Yeah, and in
it's
their
like
life,
they're
that's
avoiding
probably
reality.
And that's a lot of problems in their life. They've probably coped with that way, and they have gone away. And maybe, hopefully, this one will. But yes, I think that's probably.
Tamara Price is on here from Northern California. She says, "I live in a neighborhood who claims to know nothing of current events. It's tough to begin any conversation with this attitude or whatever it is caused." And see, that's a lot of people now are more wrapped up in buying a cup of coffee at the coffee shop and acting like they're living this dream life that everybody sees on Facebook and social media that don't exist.
Yeah.
And I don't think people should like get caught up in it like you're saying, but they should pay attention to what's going on in the world.
They should. And because there may come a time when we need to unify on these same things that are going on, and we all need to be informed.
We need to be prepared for stuff too.
So I mean, it's I would keep trying to talk and come up with creative ways to come up with.
Now I saw not long ago Elijah Kirby on Shelbyville.
Yeah,
he got some severe weather up on his radar. And it was happening, and he reports that, and he shows where tornado warnings are.
I watch it.
And I saw 20-something thousand people on there, and some people there was like just tore all pieces about this. And we're talking about weather,
mm-hmm.
and this other stuff is missiles.
Yeah,
if we're worried about a thunderstorm and we get that bent out of shape over it, we ought to at least pay attention to what's going on as far as our world.
Yes, we should.
It's just like mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, and when you watch these videos from the war zone happening now, it'll kind of make it a little bit more clear. Now, we're not saying this is how, or anything, but this is this world. Who knows what could happen tomorrow?
Here's my prediction. I think by tomorrow or the next day, we're going to hear Iran, and they've already come out and said they'd like to make a deal, but I think you're going to hear Iran talking to Trump. And I think they're going to have a peace plan put in place. And I'm going to predict that Israel will not have any part of it. And they'll keep on wanting to bomb. And then after a second go around, Trump will finally twist Netanyahu's arm into getting a deal done because the United States is not getting involved in this.
And then they'll see what Trump really is, because it ain't sides, all these sides and this hate that's going on. He just wants peace.
We're an ally for Israel. But that ally is not going to come in with a suicide mission.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's what I'm trying to get by. It's and people that stoke the hate, just leave it alone or keep on, because the louder you get, the more stupid we know you are.
They're on Tucker Carlson because he's against us being involved.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
he's against because he wants peace.
He's seen enough war.
Exactly. I mean, oh no, we need to do more. Well, look, y'all, Tucker is got common sense, and they'll come around. I mean, I think he's kind of on the same level, like kind of what we're talking from the way I've read that. I mean, he's on Mark Levin. He's on some of these classic guys because they're
come on, man. They want to blow up
old.
They want to like turn Iran into glass.
Yes, they do, and they admit that. And I get the knee jerk feeling because sometimes, but like we've already gone over. I mean, that's not the way that you send
Yeah.
it, because eventually that's going to come back to bite you.
Yeah. Well, don't know what to believe. You don't know who's reporting the truth,
No.
but I say you just dig into it yourself and try to figure out what the most reliable source is and go with that.
And have real
Yeah.
talk.
But Bo, I think we should keep everybody up to date. If people aren't paying attention, maybe we can give a update a little bit more frequently than what we have with other events.
Yes, this is
And
a
of
big
course,
deal.
the trade war continues. July 9th is the countdown. And I've been looking at all those tariffs come back July the 9th, and there's some big ones. So we got to see how this plays out. And maybe Trump will delay those for a few more days since this is going on, so we can get some stuff done.
Yeah, right. I hope that.
But the Chinese deal, people are scrambling right now. The ones I've talked to, they're looking for sources in other countries. Yeah. But some of these other countries are going to have just as higher tariffs.
They know, yeah. So, and they know that there are other people looking too.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, we'll be back again real soon. Thanks for watching. And again, we want to thank our sponsor, Norris Plumbing.
That's right.
24-hour
plumbing.
If you need need any type of plumbing work done, just give them a call. Their number is on the video, on the commercial.
Jay will take care of you.
Yeah, Jay will take care of you.
He sure will.
We'll see you guys next time.